This is the Unprofessional Outsiders, a Kansas City Chiefs podcast by Average Joes for Average Joes, covering the Chiefs, random sports talk, and just about anything else.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unprofessional Outsiders, a Kansas City Chiefs podcast by your favorite Average Joes. For all of you Average Joes, I am your friendly neighborhood executive producer, Mark Alley. I am joined this afternoon by my erstwhile co-host, Connor Alley. Connor, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Thanks everyone for listening. Hopefully we'll have a good episode for you.
Yeah, we've taken a little bit of time off. This is probably the most time off we've had since our last actual episode. Some strange shenanigans going on. May is a busy month. We had just some family emergencies, et cetera, et cetera. So we ran an evergreen episode last week, and this is our first new one for coming up on a month now, Connors. It's a good time to have doldrums for us because this has been a very news-light section of the year, as it always is. I guess we'll go ahead and get started. We'll talk about our favorite football team,
Chiefs News.
First major piece of news, and it's so major, it's really minor. It's minor. This any other time of the year, we probably wouldn't even be discussing this on the podcast. But Romeo Crennel, who was formerly the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, has announced his retirement. Romeo Crennel has been in the NFL for 50 years, and he spent time with many teams in the NFL: Giants, Patriots, Chiefs, Texans, Browns, Jets. He has had 5 Super Bowl wins as an assistant, which a lot of people can't say that. As far as the Chiefs go, he was our defensive coordinator in 2010, which is when we actually earned an AFC West title and went to the playoffs that year. However, the next season was Todd Haley when he left. And basically, after Todd Haley was fired after we lost to the Jets of all teams in week 14 of the 2011 season. This is when Romeo Crennel steps up as the interim head coach. Then his first game, the 5-8 Chiefs of 2011 beat the, as of that point, undefeated Green Bay Packers. And I remember everyone was so hyped over this, right? So then, Connor, actually, we went to the following football game. Do you recall that? That's the first time we ever went to Arrowhead Stadium.
That would have been a Chiefs-Raiders game, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. The Chiefs and Raiders, where we lost a heartbreaker in overtime. But, yeah, so Romeo Crennel was actually the head coach the first time we ever went to the stadium and saw the Chiefs play. So that's kind of a fun thing. Crennel was the head coach for the Chiefs in 2012, and basically that's when everything just kind of went bad. The stuff with Javon Belcher, all these terrible things happened. After the 2012 season, we were 2-14. They let Romeo Crennel go. And so that's when Andy Reid took back over. So actually, Romeo Crennel was the last head coach before Andy Reid took over. Now, Connor, I'm not here to celebrate like how great we were during that time, but I am saying it was kind of a spot of light there, that one game against the Packers with Romeo Crennel. And after the Todd Haley years and all that, it was a little bit more respectable. It felt like that next year. You have any thoughts about Romeo Crennel and his retirement?
I don't remember him that well. I do remember little bits and pieces of him coaching. I will say you can't have what the Chiefs have today.
Right.
He didn't necessarily put us on that path, but he kind of put in the idea and Chiefs fans and the Chiefs team, I think, that we could beat the best teams and we could even be one of the best teams in the NFL.
Well put, Connor. Well put. I don't think anybody's going to put Romeo Crennel over Andy Reid or many other classic Chiefs coaches through the years. But, you know, he was still a Chiefs coach. And because of that, we will always love him. So hats off to Coach Crennel, and we wish him a happy retirement. Many enjoyable golden twilight years, et cetera, et cetera. All right, moving on then. Connor, you want to tell us what's up with some other Chiefs news this week?
Yes. So there was a recent podcast interview, I believe. Someone was interviewing LaShawn McCoy, Shady McCoy, former Chief. The subject got brought up of Eric Bieniemy. They were asking him, like, why do you think he hasn't gotten a job as a head coach? And Shady kind of went on this little rant. Players didn't really like him, or at least only a certain few did, because he was so hard on them. He wasn't really that good of a coach, and he was saying all these things like, once you get an interview with him, you can tell what kind of person he is.
Mm-hmm.
and that's why he hasn't gotten a head coaching job, and he's not surprised that Bieniemy has not gotten a head coaching job, which I was very shocked to hear, because everything we had heard about Bieniemy was good things, and that all the players loved him, all the players loved playing for him. He was a good coach, good teacher. It was just weird that Shady would say all this stuff. What I think it is, to be honest, I think Shady didn't like him because maybe Shady was past his prime when he was with the Chiefs and Bieniemy was coaching him.
Yeah.
Maybe Shady was thinking he should have gotten the rock more, when in reality he was kind of a scrub.
Yeah.
Who got 2 Super Bowl rings for doing absolutely nothing.
If you remember, Connor, Shady was kind of getting run pretty hard earlier in the season in that first Super Bowl run. And then towards the end of the playoffs and later on, he wasn't used at all. I'm not even sure he was activated in the playoffs. It maybe for a game or two.
He was
still ended up with
for a couple games, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he was. So to me, that's what that's about. I mean, he's sad because he wanted to be like the feature back in the Super Bowl or whatever, whatever. But the fact is, it was not him that hoisted the Chiefs flag at the top of the pinnacle of the mountain, like Mitch Holthus said. It was Damian Williams who did that, and arguably should have been the MVP in that Super Bowl.
Coach Andy Reid actually was asked about these comments that Shady said.
Oh, okay.
And Reid literally said Shady's a great player, Bieniemy's a great coach. He's not going to like just badmouth any person. That's not the type of person Reid is.
Right.
But he did say sometimes players think they're in their prime still when they're really not, and that's kind of hard to deal with sometimes.
Uh-huh.
So it was kind of like a nice way of calling Shady out, but like in the Andy Reid way, which I loved. And Andy trusts Shady, you're garbage.
The dude was running with one hand on the football all the time. It just drove me nuts. We'll always have that cool lateral play with Kelsey, I guess, that we can celebrate with Shady.
I still don't know how that happened.
I don't know either. Got lucky. But anyway, moving on then, that's enough talk about LeSean McCoy. We never want to talk about this doofus again on the show. There's a couple other big things, maybe not big for the Chiefs, but big in the National Football League. So let's talk about a couple of these things, Connor.
Around the NFL.
Connor, I don't know if you knew about this, but Aaron Donald is a very rich man now. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So, Aaron Donald, after signing with Donda Sports, which is Kanye West's sports agency. I know you love that.
Oh, no, not really, but okay.
But so he's been remember the big deal about like after Super Bowl was like, is Donald going to retire?
Is he done? Right. Yes.
Like it doesn't seem like he's slowing down. People were like, will he really retire just after winning a ring?
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he's decided to come back and try and win another Super Bowl ring. And he got paid. He is now the highest paid non-QB player in NFL history with a 2-year, $60 million extension, something like that.
Wow. That's a lot of moolah. Moolah.
I think it's like something, I don't have the exact stats, but this is why we're the unprofessional outsiders.
Yeah.
But over 3 years, I think he should make about $90 million, which is crazy for a non-quarterback.
It is. That's approaching wide receiver. Actually, it's surpassing wide receiver money
for
now,
an for a non-offensive player.
Right. I think you could easily argue. Most people think that Aaron Donald is the best defensive player of the current era. Like maybe not this year, but in the past decade, he's just been the man. Probably the best at that point and throughout that point. And he's got his ring, so this dude's going to be in Canton one of these days, and it looks like he's also going to have a swimming pool full of gold coins that he can jump into like Scrooge McDuck. So in other news, Connor, one of our favorite players of all time has decided to throw in the towel and call it quits. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Fitzmagic, is officially retired. Now we talked about this the other day. We were both shocked at how long this dude has been in the league, right?
It seemed longer than I'd been alive, but that was actually not the case, but it felt like it.
Right. So he's 39. So he's been playing, I think it's 16 years. And that is a long career.
Especially
that is a hugely long career.
Considered a non-starter for most of his career.
Yeah, he's considered a backup or the best backup. And he's such an interesting character because of that, right? Like he was just not good enough to be the guy you wanted to hand the keys to the franchise to. but he still translated that into a 16-year career. That's crazy. He's making wonderful money, and no one really thought about how awesome he was. Now, we are huge fans of him here. He has helped us out immeasurable times. I think he was with the Dolphins when they beat the Patriots, which gave us home field advantage the year that we went to the Super Bowl. So we're always indebted to the Fitzmagic after that. But, cool. He's a Harvard guy. He's got the awesome beard. What else can you say about Ryan Fitzpatrick, Connor?
Well, he also likes to tell people that he's from Harvard. He is one of those people.
I suppose, if I had gone to Harvard, I'd probably want a lot of people to know about it too.
I don't know. He just seemed like everyone really loved playing with him. And remember that interview he did where he just looked at the camera like a crazy person? He just seemed like a really fun guy.
Yeah.
He's person to root for in the NFL. And hey, fun fact, guess what?
What?
Ryan Fitzpatrick has more passing yards than Troy Aikman. How does that make you feel?
I love that because I am not a Cowboys
if Troy
fan.
Aikman is a Hall of Famer, I feel Ryan Fitzpatrick should definitely be a Hall of Famer then.
If there was ever a dude that deserved to be like in the Hall of Fame just as an asterisk, it's got to be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No asterisks. He has more passing yards than a Hall of Famer.
That's true. He probably has more touchdowns than him too. Would be my guess, but maybe not. I'm not sure.
I think we're saying that Ryan Fitzpatrick greater than sign Troy Aikman is what I want to say.
We are definitely saying that.
I think he's overrated anyways.
Can we please get Ryan Fitzpatrick calling color commentary covering NFL games? That's what everyone wants. Get rid of Troy Aikman. Put Ryan Fitzpatrick in there. He probably had a public speaking class while he was at Harvard, right? He'll be fine.
Wait, no. Didn't Aikman go to ESPN for the Monday Night Football?
Is he on the Monday night game? Great. That's good because then we can ignore him while we're watching the Manning cast.
Yeah, so maybe Fox needs a new color commentator. Ryan Fitzpatrick. He seems like a Fox kind of guy.
Get on it. Definitely. All right, Connor. That's enough football news, NFL football news. We got to move on to cover some other ball teams from other sports.
This Week in Sports.
Connor, I'm going to hand it off to you. There's been an awful lot of NBA playoff news since the last time we spoke.
Yeah, so basically, to sum it all up, the Celtics and the Miami Heat were in this Eastern Conference Finals, and the Celtics won in 7 games. And then we had the Warriors versus the Dallas Mavericks, and the Warriors won in 5 games, actually.
Wow. So your predictions were a little bit off, but okay.
Yeah, I predicted one correctly. I did not predict the other correctly.
Yeah.
So we had a Boston Celtics versus the Golden State Warriors, which is a historic matchup because actually they first played in like the 60s, I believe, when like Wilt Chamberlain was a player.
Okay.
So like that was like at the very beginning of the NBA when all that was happening. So it's kind of cool to see that in the past and like where they are at now. You got Steph Curry versus Jason Tatum. It's been a really interesting game so far. It's 1-1. Hopefully it'll be a long and very entertaining series. Does the finals really matter, Dad? Because there was also another match that you could say was far more important.
Well, hold on. Before that, because this may be wrapped up by the time we podcast again, who you calling? Who's going to win this?
Oh, I have Warriors in 6.
Warriors in 6. Okay, very good. Very good. We'll see. All right, who cares about the NBA? Because we have some serious golf news, Connor.
Let's have some amateur golf talk.
Have we ever talked golf on here before?
I don't think so.
I think maybe like Pat was at a celebrity golfing tournament. Like it was in Patrick Watch once, maybe like last summer. We watched the match as it was being touted as. This was 2 versus 2 golf team play with Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady in one team, and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes as the other team. Connor, let us know how that went.
Through cheating and probably droid use and deflation of golf balls.
Yeah, definitely.
Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers defeated Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes did carry Josh Allen nearly the entire way.
Yeah, we watched part of it, and he was definitely way better than Josh Allen.
It was kind of fun to watch just to see them like talk trash to each other. The old guys versus the new guys, and all the charity anyway. So a really great cause, and I think everyone really enjoyed it. I just wish the outcome was not won by cheaters.
I heard they won on the last hole. Is that correct?
It was really close. It was
came
really
down to the last hole.
Yeah.
The only thing other than that stood out to me about the match was that a lot of Bills Mafia was there. Most of the fans were all Bills Mafia,
They don't have much up there in Buffalo, New York, so
I guess there's not
they
much
will travel for
up there,
their
so they'll fly to. Was it in Las Vegas? Is that where they were having this?
I can't.
Okay, yeah, that's where I thought. So anyway, pretty funny. Pat is obviously the best, and he's a lovable goober, and we just think he's the greatest. Okay, so other news relating to NFL, but also kind of video games. The new Madden cover has been revealed, and who's going to be on the Madden cover this year, Connor?
In a very classy move by Madden, we are having John Madden, who just passed away, be on the cover of the latest Madden. I don't think anyone's upset at this. I think this is considered a very good move, like a very humble, and it's cool because that Madden was actually on the cover of the Maddens and when they all first came out.
Originally, I think it was mid 2000s when they started putting individual athletes on.
That sounds about right.
It seems like Sean Alexander somewhere in that era was when they first started putting guys on the cover, right? There's a blast from the past. Yeah, this is a classy move. You know, Connor, I buy the Madden games only when Patrick Mahomes is on the cover, so I'm torn whether to get this one or not. I don't know. Just for classic notoriety's sake, perhaps I will. You gonna pick that one up?
I don't know. I kind of do want it for the to have Madden on the cover, which is really weird because like John Madden, he was like a Raiders coach. Like that's what made him popular.
I know.
But everyone loves him because he was the commentator. So it's like I like a Raider, which it's just a strange feeling. It's a strange feeling.
This is how I look at it. Like in the overall pie of John Madden's career in football, being a Raiders coach was like the Pac-Man bites version. That it was that much, and then the rest of the Pac-Man body, that was being the one of the best commentators that ever was. So the dude was super appealing and fun and easy to listen to, and it's really cool to see that they're honoring him in this way.
He made a lot of people football fans. I think that's fair.
I think that's a very nice way to put it, Connor. Excellent. So Connor, let's go with some on-the-spot field work that you recently did for our This Week in Sports segment. Tell us about your recent trip to St. Louis.
So, me and my girlfriend went to St. Louis, and we caught a St. Louis Cardinals game versus the San Diego Padres. Both teams are probably top 10, maybe even top 5 teams. I would say the Cardinals are top 5, definitely. Padres, I think, are a little overrated. Ask me after this where I have the Royals in my power rankings of the MLB. I had been once, but I have not been to a winning Cardinals game. So it was very nice to actually go see when they won, but it was kind of a crazy game to go to. It was kind of slow. I mean, it was like a 2-0 lead by the Cardinals for the first 6 innings, and then the Padres got a 2-run home run and tied it up, and then neither team could score for the rest. Then it went to extra innings. There's some crazy plays, some great throws, great catches. Basically, the Cardinals had Albert Pujols, who is an old man now. He's 42. Did you know he was 42?
I did not know that, but boy, that's pretty old to be playing a major sport.
42 years old, and he had a walk-off sac fly to win the game, and it was just really cool to see.
Did the crowd go crazy?
Oh, the crowd was insane.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was about to cry because it was cool folks who won it for him.
Yeah,
and it was just a really cool game to experience because there was a lot of weird stuff. I saw a manager get thrown out, which I'd never seen before.
Tell us about that.
Out. The day before we went to the game, I was literally talking to my girlfriend about I'd never seen someone get thrown out of a game, in a baseball game in particular.
Yeah.
Which I think is just a fun thing to watch and see it happen.
Sure.
And then the very next day, the best player on the Padres team, Manny Machado, who was like the one player on their team that I knew.
Yeah.
That wasn't injured. He got thrown out for throwing his stuff all over the field, and the umpire threw him out. Then the manager came out and started talking to him, and then threw the manager out, and it was just the whole crowd erupted, and everyone was yelling and screaming. It was a really cool thing to experience. Yeah. So it's a lot of firsts, and I'm really glad I got to go.
That's awesome, Connor. I've heard that the trip to Busch Stadium, I haven't been since I think I went in high school, maybe. They've revamped it, I think probably a couple times since then. And the most recent, we've been to Tiger Stadium up there. Well, it's not Tiger Stadium, it's Ford Field, I guess, right? To see the Tigers.
Baseball stadiums may be the best stadiums in sports.
They are pretty cool.
Most of them are really nice and really fun to go to, and they got There.
We've been to Kaufman with near the Chiefs, but I just get upset when I'm there because I'm not watching a football game across the parking lot. So
Speaking of Kaufman, speaking of Kansas City Royals.
Yeah. Where do you have them in your power rankings, Connor?
Well, actually, not just my own power rankings, but many power rankings I've read have our dear co-host Brandon's Kansas City Royals at the very bottom.
Yep.
Not one team better.
That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. So basically, the Jacksonville Jaguars of the MLB is the Kansas City Royals. Is that what you're saying?
I mean,
except they have won nice the World Series in the past decade. You can't be that.
They both
bad.
have nice unis.
They do. That's true.
But one did have Blake Bortles and one did not have Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles.
Who's really winning? Who's really winning?
That's right. All right, Connor. I think we have talked about sports for a while now. Can we change the subject for a little bit?
I'd say so.
It's time for the Pop Culture Minute.
All right, everyone. I have started my timer. It's time for the Pop Culture Minute. Today, I am talking about a movie, something that I took Connor to go see last week. The movie was Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And this, Connor, I didn't really know what to expect. And when I went into this, all I knew about it was Michelle Yeoh is in it, which she's great. We love Michelle Yeoh. And also, I don't even know how to say the guy's name. The guy who played Short Round in the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and the guy who was Data in the Goonies. He is in this as well. And this movie, I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. It's kind of like a multiverse thing, but with normal people. No heroes here. A lot of weird and wild things going on, though. My time is up already. Goodness sakes alive. Connor, help me out talking about Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. What were your thoughts on this movie?
I didn't walk in with any expectations. I knew there was some multiversal, which basically every movie that's coming out is a multiverse thing now. You follow this lady, and she's kind of having a sad life, and then just all this crazy stuff happens to her. She gets these crazy powers. It's like, the way I compare it is, it's The One meets Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, that's a good way to talk about it. So The One, for those who may not know about this classic movie.
And for some reason, I know about The One because you're my father. But
yeah, so I love the movie The One. It stars Jet Li. I think it's got Jason Statham in there too before he got big. But The One has Jet Li, where in all the different universes, one of the evil Jet Lis is hunting down all the other Jet Lis. And he assumes their powers when he does so. But the way it works is all of the power that the Jet Lis had is divided amongst the remaining Jet Lis. So when it comes down to it, you got two Jet Lis facing off, one evil, one good, and they both have like this half the power of all of them. It's pretty crazy and ridiculous, and I love it. But anyway, this has that kind of a feeling where there's multiple versions of these characters. I can't really, we don't want to talk too much about it, but it sounds like what we described, that it's like this science fiction heavy, really hard to understand thing. But really, at its heart, it's about family, right? It's about this family and all the dynamics of this family and the relationships between the father and the mother and the father and the kid and the kid and the mother and, you know, her father and all these different things and potential and talking about what could have been in your life, what should have been maybe in your life. And it includes some of the most creative scenes that I have ever seen in my entire life. Would you agree?
No, I definitely agree. I think all the special effects and all the choreography. Really sorry, I can't. Sunburn. Sorry.
Yeah, all the choreography was amazing. The
editing was really good. The
editing was fantastic. Stunning visual effects, stunning visuals entirely. Super creative storytelling techniques. The first 10 minutes is so hectic and crazy, and you know everything you need to know about that family after the first 10 minutes. It's really, really interesting. It's kind of a heartwarming, almost kind of a film. I strongly recommend seeing this one if you can. I don't know. I would recommend it to almost anyone, really. I mean, I might make your mom watch this. You think she would watch this? It's just so weird, right? It's very different.
Pass.
Yeah. I mean, for your average moviegoer, maybe not. But if you have if you want to look at something as cinema, if you want to see something that's going to end up on the top 250 movies on Internet Movie Database before long, if I don't miss my mark, go see Everything Everywhere All at Once.
All right, wait, quick question.
Yeah.
Quick question. What would you rank higher movie-wise, Top Gun Maverick or Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Connor, now why do you have to do this kind of thing to me?
The people must know.
They both scratch two totally different itches.
Nope. You got to pick one. 3,
Everything
2,
Everywhere All
1, pick.
I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is a better movie.
Really?
I will say that. Yeah. But I will say that Top Gun Maverick is the perfect sequel. And it was absolutely 1,000% better than I thought it was going to be. In fact, I can't think of any revamp of an 80s property that has been better than Top Gun Maverick, which is really saying a lot.
It's really not saying a lot, actually. Most 80s sequel
I get pretty upset when my beloved properties aren't treated well. I'm looking at you, Star Wars. But Top Gun Maverick was good, man. It was good. I almost talked about it today, but I didn't. And now,
We'll talk about it next time. Hopefully,
yeah, maybe we will. Connor, I think that's going to be enough chit chat for the day. We want to thank everybody for listening. Hey, Connor, you know what? May has passed. Are we on Instagram yet?
Sphincter says what?
Exactly. Are you ever going to? Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you a long time before kickoff of the first game of the NFL season. Do you think you can make us an Instagram account?
Will I get paid?
I will buy you a case of Mountain Dew Spark.
It's gonna cost more than Spark.
That's all I got for you. Sorry.
It's gonna have to be green apple or nothing.
Oh, you know what? We're going to be going to Michigan this summer. Maybe we could look for some of the apple up there while we're there. So what's it called? Snapped apple? Something like that?
I will be hoarding every single thing.
Yeah, we're just going to fill all your suitcases with snapped apple, right? Trashed apple, maybe. I can't remember what it's called. It's good. All right, we're going to wrap it up then. Everyone, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Take care. Farewell. May the force be with you all.
Thank you for listening to the Unprofessional Outsiders. They don't know what they were doing, but they had fun doing it.